I thought I might as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb, so I'm going to steam that twist out of this end. You can see I've got the old trusty 5 litre placky bottle. I'm lucky because the guy that lives next door, he uses quite a lot of these in his job, so I've got a ready supply. And I've clamped my magic wooden limb spanner on there, so when it's had half hour or so I can just pull this across, take out that twist. Right, that's not had long at all, but I can feel it's beginning to move quite easily. So what I'll do is I'll stick a clamp on here, with a block of wood, so that when I pull this spanner over it will just twist rather than pulling the whole thing this way. And what I've done, I've put a G-clamp there. I can have a bit of string coming over. I can tie it to my lever, pull it to the degree of twist I require, which is probably about that. Tie it off. Let's see, do I want to twist it a bit extra, a little bit extra, there we go. Tie it off and then leave it half an hour. Right, so that's it tied off in position across to there. It's all about Heath Robinson, but it should do the job quite nicely. And the beauty of twist, correcting a twist, is you're spreading quite a small movement over a reasonable length of limb. So, you know, if you look at it, you're shifting it that far. Well, over each inch of limb, it's only a tiny weeny amount. It's not like you're doing a big bend. So twist is quite easy to correct. And that's gone soft very quickly. That's probably had about 10 minutes in the steam. So once it's had half hour, I'll just turn the steam off and leave it an hour to cool down, and we'll see what it's like. Right, let's undo this stuff and see what's happened to me bow limb. There we go. Oh, it's barely bounced back at all. It should look very nice when it comes off. There we are, job's a good one. But all in all, it's a lot less twisted. So, if we look at it as we'd see it on the tiller, it's better. But I think some of the deflex is steamed out. So now I'll have to go back to there and steam out that deflex. So I'm going round in circles, but it's all good fun. I've got the bow limb clamped at the centre, sort of relatively flat. Now it's difficult to measure anything exactly because it's a curved bow, and I don't know if the garage floor's flat or whatever, but I measured from the garage floor to the back here, right above the belly of the tip, and it was 36 inches, sorry, 35 inches. And this one's about 36, so I want to pull this down to line up with that. So I'll pull it down about an inch. So I'll probably need to pull it down slightly more than that to allow it to allow for a bit of bounce. I'm not sure quite how I'm going to tie it down, but there's some holes in the workmate. Perhaps I'll thread some string through there and tie it down. That's probably my best bet. Yeah, if this steaming makes it too stiff, if I gain some extra draw weight, which I'm expecting may well happen, what I can then do is narrow and thin the tips a bit, get the tips coming round, because when I looked at it on the tiller it looked like most of the bends on this sort of inner third of each limb, so it won't hurt to get the limb tips moving a bit more. there's plenty of meat there, and you'll notice the overall profile of the prod. I've got it wide and relatively thin. Yeah, that string's gone slack now. I've taken it off. Looks like it's almost relaxed too much. Yeah, it's just about where I want it. There we are, I've got my wedge under there. I think I'll turn the steam off now. I've tidied the prod up considerably, narrowed it a tiny bit more there, checked for thick spots with the verniers. I noticed it was thinnest here and then actually was thick there, so I've taken down the belly there a bit. But before I put it on the tiller and really pull it for what may be a final pull, I should mention the fact that you need to be careful when thinking about draw length of a crossbow, because say I pulled that back to 16 inches, well, you can't have 16 inches from the bow back to the latch of the crossbow, because to cock the latch you normally have to pull the string about an inch past it to actually make it cock. And also bear in mind you've got your great big fat hairy hands either side of the string, which is stopping the string taking its most direct route. So effectively, if the latch is at 14 inches, you may well be stressing the bow back to the equivalent of 16. So I need to think about what I want to claim as the draw length for it as a crossbow. So I may say, well, it's a 14-inch draw even if I pull it back to 16. And if it's 100 at 16, then of course it won't be 100 on the cocked bow. Also, it's a problem that a crossbow can remain cocked for some time. You know, even if it's only sort of say 30 seconds, that is significant extra strain. Whereas a longbow, well, anyone who holds a longbow at full draw for 30 seconds is an idiot. It's not necessary to hold a bow at full draw for more than a count of probably 1 and 2 and loose. Anyway, enough rambling. I shall get her back on the tiller and we'll have a look. But hopefully you'll agree, it's certainly looking a lot prettier. This is my light sporting crossbow. I can't actually remember what the draw weight of the prod is. I think it's about £175 or 200 or something. It's made from an old car leaf spring with an awful lot of time grinding it to a taper. The bit at the end isn't folded over like it would be on a real crossbow prod. It's a block of steel brazed on to make it look right. The nut, the roller nut, is made of steel, which makes it a bit heavy. Did all the inlaying. Oh, and there's a nice Delta Cat shield. I like that, it's a bit of fun. I'll video it being shot. Alright, hopefully you'll be able to see that. Put the lever on there. I'm sure I've got a video of this somewhere else, but I can't find it. Quite hard work. Yeah, I know I've got a video somewhere. I have to check through my list of videos. Alright, here's a nice bolt with a heavy point on it. Now let's see if I'm in camera shot. Right, if I come about here, you should be able to see that. Quite an impressive bang, yes. Actually, it's a fairly heavy bolt, so that didn't kick too much. Kaboom! Now I've zoomed in a good deal so we can hopefully get a good look at it. I've slimmed the tips considerably, taken out a bit of that twist. I've adjusted the scale to measure accurately from the back of the bow, because this is thinner than the long bow, so it was about ½ inch out. So we're about 4-inch brace. So if we say we want 14-inch draw, which would be to that white chalk mark, that would actually give us a 10-inch power stroke, and by the time you've actually pulled it to cock it into the latch of a crossbow, you'd probably be pulling sort of 15. So let's have a look. It was harder to brace this time because some of that deflex has been taken out and it's looking a bit more even. Still slightly deeper there than there, but you know, there's some undulation in the bow. So I'm not going to pull it necessarily to 100, I'm going to aim to pull it to perhaps 14 inches. That was about it. So we're a whisker over 90. I could pull it further, but there's not much point. I mean, in use that would allow for the cocking 14-inch stroke from there to the latch of the crossbow, 10-inch power stroke at 90 pounds. That's not bad, that'll throw a bolt. Not very far, because if you consider if we double that power stroke to 20 inches, I'd assume say a 6-inch brace, that would be a total of 26, which is a sort of reasonable approximation to a target archery draw length. At half of 90, 45 pounds, so it will go like a 45 pound bow drawn to 26, which isn't particularly impressive. So effectively the crossbow, we're twice the draw weight but at half the draw length of a longbow.